Hello, hello, good evening.
Hey everyone.
Bye, everybody.
We have a full panel here tonight. We've got the writer of The Adventures of Superior Sam, Chris Barcomb. Welcome in. We have Noah Ray, who's lettering on this book, lettered on Mossvale, art on Dino Thrashers, lots of Ageless press projects, whatever. Either way. And Matt Kund, co-publisher of Ageless Press and writer of also a lot of projects himself. Welcome in, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
And shout out to Lewis, who's lurking and watching in the chat.
Hey.
Creator of all the clay.
Doing all the art.
So thank you guys for coming to talk about the newest Ageless Press comic that you guys are teaming up with Chris here to put out. We've talked with Noah and Matt a few times now. So let Chris start us out here and tell us, I guess, your origin story within comics. How'd you start reading comics and how'd you start writing and what led you to Superior Sam?
So the quick rundown, you'll get it from a lot of people. I started reading when I was a teenager. I subsequently, like a lot of people, kind of fell out into comics. I got into professional paintball and things like that and traveling and doing that. Then I became a police officer back in 2007. I got injured in 2010. And as a result of that injury, I medically retired and I lost a portion of my leg. And actually, while I was recovering from one of my one of my spinal cord surgeries that was related to my leg, I got a gift, and it was a copy of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because people knew that I liked the movie. So, and I don't know who gave it to me. I just got it. It was in the hospital. They said someone left this for you, and I read it, and I was like blown away. I was like, I liked Cap when I was a kid. I liked all the movies, and I was like, this is fantastic. And it was weird because I had just moved to Harrisonburg, Virginia from Charlottesville, and I knew like nobody. I knew my now wife because we were living together, but other than that, I had a couple friends, but that was really it. You know, everything I had was back. You know, I had just retired from the police department when we moved, so I knew nobody. So I was going around, you know, and I wasn't playing paintball anymore. I, you know, wasn't at the police department. And it was really lonely. And I was going to comic shops and just hunting for these Volume 5 Captain America books because I needed something to fill my time up with, because I was like super depressed and, you know, dealing with all this huge change and everything. And, you know, I found my way back into comics because of that one act somebody had done for me. And then I ended up teaching in an after-school program part-time. And while I was there, one of the kids that I was teaching was on the spectrum. And when it was made clear that I was going to leave, I was going to have the amputation surgery. No one knew if I was going to ever walk again, let alone if I'd be even back. The procedure up till that point, they were able to get somebody to walk, but there was only been 5 other people prior to me that had the surgery that we had done for my nerve damage with my leg. So nobody knew how it was going to go. And I ended up quitting the job while trying to explain to this kid why I wasn't going to be his teacher again after teaching him for a year. He didn't understand. So I wrote him a story. He was a very good visual learner, but not a very good like verbal learner. So I wrote him Superior Sam as a story to explain a traumatic amputation. And then since then, I just kept going because the impact that Sam has had when I wrote the first story, just allowing people to open up and to talk about it, whether you're disabled or not, it just created talking points. And then it just kind of kept going from there. You know, whether we were telling a story with a moral or a theme, or we were trying to like highlight a different disability or something, you know, to make people aware of it. But that's how it's spun out. And, you know, that's how the last 6 years have been. They've been, you know, Superior Sam kind of one issue after another. And if this issue funds, or I should say when this issue funds, this will be the 10th issue in the series. But they are all, I should say, almost all of them are standalone issues. So,
I mean, reading it, I can see what impact that could have on especially the first reader of the comic, and helping him understand better what's going on. It just has that kind of impact, I think, for especially younger audiences that don't see that representation.
And that don't see things like that as weird until they're told it is.
Yeah, like when I was, my wife and I, we don't have kids. And people are always like, why do you do a kid's book? And the reason I do a kid's book is because even as a cop, I learned that you can meet the most hardened criminals in the world, and they never wanted that life for their children. They always wanted better. And the way I look at it is I am trying to create a better generation. I said it last night. If one kid ever in my life comes up to me and said, your comic, made an impact on me, then that's fine. But I know I'm making an impact because it's like you said, Karen, there's a representation and there's a message that kids don't always get to talk about. And, not to turn it politics, but like hate is learned.
Yes.
You deal with young children, they don't hate anybody, but when they get older, they learn. And that's unfortunately what happens. So I'm trying to teach everybody, even kids and adults, the difference is okay.
Yeah. Well, I think that idea gets represented in like the older kids are the ones that are the bullies. So they've learned that somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They've learned that from somebody in their life, unfortunately.
There's no such thing as kids' books, too. They're just all ages.
Yeah, because
everyone can learn something.
I enjoyed it. I'm a big kid, I guess. So.
Just the cartoons.
It is classified as all ages, but I mean, brass tacks if you want to put it out there. But I mean, I have more adult fans. I have a large contingent of adult fans, as well, that enjoy it. And when we write a book and when we illustrate a book, we make sure that it's enjoyable for everybody, not just one. Because the thing that I like the most is like when I hear someone's like, "Oh, I read your book to my child," and we got to have a conversation afterwards, because that's creating a dialogue between a parent and a child, and that dialogue's important as well. I didn't really have that my entire childhood growing up, so if I can do that for somebody else, then hey, more props to them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's like cool like visual gags as well. Like in the preview pages, we have two, and I chuckled when I put that up. There's one of Pee Wee Herman running out of the animal shelter with the snakes, and like if you're an older person reading that to your kid,
I remember
he's not going to understand that joke, but like you're gonna see that and get a chuckle there. So there's like visual gags, and there's also writing for older people too.
If you want to see, like, Josh likes to hide things, not like bad things, but like, little advice. He put like every name on there as well. But then like,
Chris, can you put that back up?
I was just pulling you up there.
Yeah.
So like, there's some health advice on that page, and then all the names are like, if you go to the next page and you look at this giant panel of them like rocking out with all the kids in the hospital, you'll see things like his microphone's unplugged, the guitar strings are all broke, like, little things like that. We try to have fun with it and let everybody enjoy it. We're not putting subliminal messages in there by any means. But we want it to be fun. We want you to have, a good time reading it, and we talk about tough subjects as well. I tell people all the time, I was like, you read Superior Sam, it's not always happy joy with that comic. It's designed to talk about some things, that need to be talked about, because sometimes the tough conversations are the most important conversations.
Absolutely. So what brought you all together then? I know you guys have been putting out some awesome books over with Ageless Press, and Chris, you've been publishing Superior Sam prior to this connection.
So Matt, do you want to do this, or do you want me to answer this?
Actually, I think Noah's the common point here, so maybe Noah can do that.
I gotta tell a story now.
Well, I have to take us back years in the past. Everybody just settle in. This will be the rest of the show.
A long time ago, here comes the crawl.
Yeah. No, Chris was Chris was my Wednesday regular guy at the local comic shop when I used to live in Harrisonburg. So I got to know Chris just through that. And then it didn't take long for him to bring up that he made his own comics. And then, he kept a lot of them at that comic shop. And then I moved to Stanton, Virginia, and I lived close to where his mom ran her bookstore. And she kept a lot of his books there as well. So
Nice.
we started talking, we became friends actually right before the pandemic. So, but we kept in touch during quarantine and just during 2020 in general, a lot of stuff went down, and Chris did this really cool book called Superior Sam Take a Knee, which was all about Black Lives Matter and explaining it in a really cool way. It's a great book. But I think we had Chris on one time previous to that just to talk about Superior Sam in general, but Matt and I had him on the podcast to discuss that book. And that's sort of where we cemented sort of our, I guess, promotional relationship. Like we really gelled talking about that book. And then he came on to talk about some other books in the future. Like I think we talked about Pulp by Brubaker and Phillips.
We did the Reckless books.
And we talked about the Reckless books. And so Matt and I've had a I guess a comics creators relationship with him since then. And then when we announced Mossvale's pre-launch page in January, Chris gave me a call and said, I didn't know you guys were in the market for all ages books. And I think I knew where he was going once he said that, but I was very excited if it was going with the way I thought it was going. And he basically said, he asked, could Superior Sam find a home at Ageless? And I was like, no brainer. I was like, yeah, of course. And at the time we were really busy with Mossvale, so I didn't pitch it to Matt just then. I waited for Mossvale to calm down, but I told Chris, I'm like, I think it's going to be a definite yes from Matt as well. But I'll wait till we're done with Mossvale and then approach him about it. And so we got done with Mossvale. Had a great time doing that book, and so I got ready to ship it out, and I approached Matt about Superior Sam coming over to Ageless, and of course Matt said yes because it's Chris. So
This would be a terrible idea to say otherwise.
yeah, exactly. So it was a no-brainer for us, I think, and no-brainer for me. And I put it out there when I was talking with Chris. I was like, hey, if you want me to letter the book, I'd be more than honored to have my name be a part of it. And Chris was like, yeah, let me talk to Josh. And Josh came back and was like, yeah, I could use some help in that area. So that's how I got the lettering job. And I said this on another podcast, but that's my end goal, is just to take over every role in this comic, and eventually Superior Sam will be mine. So
Slowly but surely.
That's the big plan. I like to have a 5-year goal. Maybe I'll get it in under 2. Who knows?
Yeah. So I don't think there's a day that goes by where Noah and I don't trade like an email or a text or a message about comics or some sort of, piece of art. And then slowly but surely, over that quarantine part, having podcasts with Chris, like Chris came into the fold, and Chris is a big art collector, like the other two of us are. So, if somebody got a new piece of art, we're like, hey, check out what I just got. And it was either like, oh, that's really great, or oh, I'm so envious, or I'm jealous, I wish I would have got there first. So we just sort of had this text email relationship through the quarantine where we're just constantly talking about comics, talking about art. So yeah, like Noah said, it was pretty much a no-brainer that we were going to do this.
Very nice. And we're about halfway through the campaign right now.
Yeah, a little more then.
Doing pretty good.
Well, yeah, guys.
So
I'm pretty proud of it. I'm glad to see people are coming out for this one.
Absolutely. And this
It's an
one,
important one to show up for.
I think so. We kind of take a turn to the animals in this issue.
Yeah, so I'll give you the backstory. So when I went to Noah, and then Noah was like, well, what are your ideas for the next issue? And I was like, well, here's the thing. I got 14 stories kind of in the bank. Whether they're synopsises or full scripts already, I can kind of pick what I think should be the the next couple, and you guys can pick the story. And the Everyone Needs a Home was one that I thought was going to be a very popular choice, because who doesn't love animals? Like, and at the time too, during the pandemic, I'll give you a little backstory on how this issue came to be. During the pandemic, my wife and I lost one of our cats rather suddenly. She developed a blood. She was actually. So we'll go back to my relationship with my cats. My first cat lived almost, extremely old, 32 years. Whether you want to believe me or not, 32 years. She passed away shortly after I had kind of fully recovered from my leg surgery. So I felt like she had been around. She was actually my ex-girlfriend's childhood cat. And I kind of adopted her, which is how I ended up with her. And then when she passed away, it was lonely. Like, I didn't know what to do. So, and my wife and I, we had a house and a townhouse, and we had space. And I was like, the right thing to do would be to adopt another animal. We didn't do it right away either. We had some time, and we found, when we went to the shelter, I was like, hey, look, I want to see the oldest cats you have. I don't care if they have health issues, anything like that. I want to see the oldest cats because, I like older cats. When I got a hold of Patches, she was, I think, 19 at the time. So, she was already older. I mean, way older. But when we adopted Tip, they were like, hey, there might be a heart problem. So we had to deal with all that right away. And but ended up that was really nothing. And then we subsequently moved. And then one day she just wasn't doing well. And we were at the vet, and they're like, hey, she's got this blood disease, and there's nothing we can do. And it became a cost of living kind of choice. Like, there was some treatments to stabilize, but nothing to cure. And like, we had to drive 40 minutes to the vet. She would have gone 3 days a week for an IV for an hour and a half every day, like every trip. We knew she was going to be miserable. She hated the car. So we had to make the decision. And I'll be honest, I didn't know if I was going to do Sam after that, because I've always written the stories with the cats by me. And we ended up adopting in between. After Tip, we shortly adopted Hermie, which is the one you can probably hear in the background at the door, trying to get back in. But we ended up, a little while after Tip passed away, we ended up adopting Fish Fillet. And that is his name. We did not change it. That's
Fish Fillet.
Yes, his name is Fish Fillet.
My brother named your cat. Huh? I said, it sounds like my brother named your cat.
Nope. He was originally number 37. He came from a hoarder house with 133 other cats. So the shelter gave him Fish Fillet, and Fish Fillet is the name that we both fell for. And, in the picture he had. So, and it was weird because Hermie doesn't like to sit by me. She's more my wife's cat. And Fish Fillet had never really met people. It took us months to acclimate him to people. And then one day he was just sitting by me. And next thing I know, I kind of felt the need to write, the ability to write again. And, Everyone Needs a Home was the story that came out of starting to write again, because I wanted to talk about how important it was for people, to look at shelters and to look at these animals, because they need homes just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got my cat, who is currently in my lap, from my friend's parents through the TNR. They trap, neuter, release, and they had caught her and her siblings and her mom, and they were trying to adopt the kittens out to a home and trap and neuter the mom. And so a couple of us got them, and I've had her for 13 years now. 12 years.
That's great. I mean, it's a weird thing. Like, I never imagined myself as really, my brother is the animal person. And it's hilarious because if you look at that cover, Billy is actually based off my brother. My brother loves reptiles. And Billy has the snake by him. Josh knew none of this. So the fact that Josh did this was pretty impressive, on his own.
The snake with the love eyes.
But I'll tell you a little Easter egg here. If you see the gray cat that Sam is petting, that's Fish Fillet.
Aww.
And then he didn't get the coloring right, but the cat that is down by Viva Fox, that is supposed to be Hermie. Aww. And then the two dogs in the front, those are actually our editor Jason Jones's laps.
Aww.
So we wanted to have fun. This is actually an homage cover. It's to the Animosity #1 variant, the 1 in 10.
Huh.
So I wanted to have fun, and we're not doing the back cover, but the back cover idea was going to be to do all the animal butts.
Oh,
We're doing something different. We have a much cooler back cover idea in mind. So
that would be pretty funny. There was the it was from Scout Comics recently, the, like something Ranger. I don't know. They did something like that where though it was a little more. We'll just say a little bit more
risque,
the butt, a little bit more zoomed in. But yeah, no, I still love that idea of like the front cover and back cover.
Well, we do that with Sam books. If you normally we do that. I like to tell a story in the front and the back cover. So if you look at like the front cover of 8, because it's pretty easy to tell. So like Super Silas here is actually bursting out of the cover of issue number 5 where he first appeared on the cover. But then if you look at the back cover, they're trying to figure out where he went because they're in the comic too. And we tried to do that. Like the funniest cover is actually issue number 2 because you see Sam running. It was supposed to be like an Action Comics thing, but you see Sam running to like the restroom and everyone's like, oh, he's having an accident or something. But no, he's actually running, and then on the back cover, you see him burst out in his costume.
Oh, cool.
But the front cover just looks like, he's running to the restroom, but it's supposed to be this huge, front and back story. So
that's awesome.
That's really fun. I really like that.
Those extra details put into, the story and the whole package of what you're getting is really nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I'm not sure if it's still available. I haven't looked in a while, but there was a tier where you could have your animal drawn into the book.
I think they're all gone.
Yeah, I think so.
But do we want to talk about the other tier that we haven't posted yet? That's hopefully will be coming up soon.
Why don't you go ahead and break the news?
So if we get 50 backers, we're going to drop a secret tier. And that tier is going to allow you to have a main role in the story. Mm-hmm. You will be a news reporter in the story, and you will be on multiple pages of the story. And I guarantee you will have a big part in it. But we're only dropping that tier if we hit 50 backers. So we're pretty close.
Getting close, yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, that tier is going to be $100 tier. It's an expensive tier, but it's a lot of being in the story compared to the other tiers. So
yeah,
but that'll be a character based off of you, what you look like and everything. So and you'll have speaking roles and everything like that.
Awesome. And I'd say that's cheap to be put into a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some other ones. I'm actually, you see them like $200. You could draw your animal in. I think the cheap tier was $25. We did it as an early bird. You could get the animal in.
Yep.
And then there was a $40 tier. But one of the things with Superior Sam is, a lot of the work that is done with this book is done by the people at discounted rates because it's not because I'm trying to screw anybody over, but because people want to be involved in the book and we want to make the book as affordable as possible for people.
Absolutely.
So,
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it as, you're a kid, you have a limited amount of money. So, if you only have $5, you can get a comic still, but then you're going to have money left over to get a piece of candy if you want. That's how we kind of price this. And I'll be honest on that note. I know, Matt probably's like, stop telling people like,
it's fine.
You go on Webtoon, Tapas, you can read every issue for free. The reason I do that is because I know my audience is primarily, unfortunately, sometimes people with disabilities or with hospital bills and can't always afford to pay even the $3 to $4 we charge for an issue. But I still want to share the book with them. So we put it online digitally for free. But really, check it out. We have some great tiers still left. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like I said, 5 more tiers. We're going to add that bonus tier. So
I would say this is something with every Ageless press book that you guys have done is that it's always one of, I feel like, the most affordable Kickstarter comics out there each time. So I think that's really cool that it's available, that more people can reach it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to compete with, a big two or even like a smaller tier publisher who's in previews, that's got a book that's $2.99, $3.99. We want to stay in that ballpark. We don't want to scare anybody off. That's like, this indie book is, $8 more than, a book that I know that has Spider-Man or Batman on the cover. So we try our best to sort of stay as competitive with the pricing as those books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we don't, we love doing comics and we'd all love to make it our careers someday. But right now we're mainly doing it just for the love of it more than anything. So, if we can hit our goal, we can get these books sent out, and maybe have some money left over, for future projects. That's the end goal. But like, we're mostly doing this all just for the love of it more than anything.
Yeah.
And that's sort of why we picked Superior Sam, and we were happy to work with Chris, because Matt and I have gotten to the place where we just want to work with people we like to work with and on projects that we like to work on. So, Superior Sam is definitely one of those, because I like everything Chris has said, just for every reason Chris has said.
That's awesome.
And to relate it back to Mossvale, there's not a picture of it on the Kickstarter, but there is going to be a Mossvale variant for anybody who either missed out on Mossvale or is sort of like a completist that has got to have that variant cover, and it's an awesome variant cover that's drawn by Noah and Alfred, the colorist of Dino Thrashers, did it, and it's just amazing. So again, it's either one of those two things. If you missed out on Mossvale, it's a chance to get Mossvale, or if you're a completist and you need to have everything and you were in on the original Mossvale, now you can have a variant cover. So that's one of the things that we're having here.
So or if you really just want Noah's art.
Very true.
So I did see it was available. I think you could, if you were just, hey, I just want Mossvale, and just show support to Superior Sam by throwing money there.
Yeah.
Or Mossvale and Everyone Needs a Home here. But is there an add-on tier?
There is, yeah. You can
Mossvale?
I don't remember if you can add on Mossvale, but I know you can add the Superior Sam trade paperback to anything, or extra copies of Everyone Needs a Home.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a way to do the whole Sam tier and add on the Mossvale, but I couldn't find a way to make it work. Because I think I would be missing something with, I think the issue 8 would be missing then, and Take a Knee.
No, you would get that in there. If you do the Superior Sam catch-up tier, you get the trade paperback 1 through 7, you get 8, and you get Take a Knee.
Yeah, but then I meant if I did the Mossvale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was trying to find a way to make it work, but I didn't see there was an add-on for Mossvale.
All right, Matt, you know your weekend project now.
Yeah, I'm
get her done.
The pen is here, the notebook is here. Notes are being taken.
I was like, I wanted to add on Noah's cool art, because I've seen it. I saw him posting it before. I think if it was the one I was thinking of.
It is.
Yeah. So just wanted to find a way to do that.
Yeah, we'll have that ready tomorrow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm just like, get it going, Matt.
How dare you? Is it shame bell time?
I will bump that up a few dollars.
We appreciate the support. Because, I mean, it's like Noah said, too, like every dime is going into the comic. Don't get me wrong. The people that are doing things are getting paid, but like the money is going into the comic. I'm not getting anything from this. Noah is doing something. He wants, he deserves to be paid. He's an artist. He gets, deserves to be paid. He wants to volunteer it. That's his own business. But, he deserves to be paid, just like Josh deserves to be paid. That's something that I was talking about on another podcast. They're like, how do you do all this? And I'm like, well, the people that I work with, I let them pick the price, what they want to do their work for. And, and then if I can afford it, we pay that price. So, both Azami and Josh have been very appreciative of the work, to be able to do the work, but also, what the story and the message is. And, because they've been willing to, take a little less to make this happen, we're able to put out these great issues with this great art associated with it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, don't ask your friends to do art for free.
No, support your friends' art.
Yeah,
Exactly.
buy it. I own Mossvale and I own Dino Thrashers. And I might have got a sketch from Noah when I backed Dino Thrashers. No, it was Mossvale.
Probably both.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one I got one. I just remember Noah's like, hey, I'm dropping a free sketch right now if you're this backer. And I was like, ooh, Noah sketch. Boom. And I backed it. And he's like, I know what you want already. So, like, don't even bother to tell me. I got it. So I was like, all right, cool.
When
And
he
there was
knows,
the
he
bucket
knows.
cap.
If you guys didn't catch it earlier, Chris likes Captain America. That's a little bit of trivia right there for you guys.
So we had Iron Man drawn, right?
Yeah, I
It
drew
was-
Iron Man. No, actually, weird enough, MODOK. I was like,
You know what? Best villain, right?
I had a buddy, I will kid you not, he came in the shop yesterday and he was wearing a MODOK t-shirt, but instead of MODOK, it was a pug in MODOK's chair, and he was chasing a ball. And I was like, this is the most amazing thing I've seen.
That's good.
That's awesome.
I was cracking. Okay, maybe I'm the only one that found it funny.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. I see a lot of like shirts like that because I work at a comic shop.
Yeah, and
You
that's
get a
what I
lot of
heard.
unique stuff.
My
Don't-
buddy has much better taste in shirts, like funny comic shirts, than I do. So
Don't spoil our Superior Sam Marvel crossover when they take on MODOK.
Got to plant the seeds early.
yeah,
I've
Disney
spotted,
holler at us.
spotted what you're talking about here, Matt.
Yeah.
Yep. Just hiding out there.
I
Running
checked to
home.
see if Paul Rubens was on Twitter because I wanted to see if I could get him to see that, but I couldn't find him.
Aw.
Jeremy, am I able to share my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'll pull up the Mossvale cover in question here.
Okay.
I had it buried in some files for some dumb reason, but I found it.
How dare you,
Hanging out
sir?
somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't see that he likes Captain America at all.
Yeah, isn't that Captain Marvel? That's definitely a Captain Marvel shirt.
He
Hey, I just finished Miss Marvel. I thought it was fantastic.
Yo, yeah, that was
Oh
great.
yeah.
I have opinions, but most of them are great.
But yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Ooh.
You guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's,
dope.
Yeah, let me see if I can do command. Nope, I
Yeah.
can't.
So that's the variant that we're offering for Mossvale.
That's awesome.
So again, if you missed or if you're a completist and you need the variant,
That's a really
it's a
good
pretty awesome variant.
Yeah, there you go. See,
Now it's gonna be real gold on the Mossville letter.
real gold. Only the best for our backers. Yeah. What I like about this cover is that Alfred put his like right here, and like it's really easy to see, and it's like, yeah, you know who did it, and like I got Travis's name right there. And if you look right down in the corner right there, there's mine, because I'm the worst at signing things, and even when I do, I'm somehow bad at that too. So
You like to
Yeah.
incorporate the signature into the art.
It's like
yes, exactly.
There's no artists here. What?
Yeah.
It just the lines got drawn magically.
Yeah, I don't know how they happened. It was
And
actually
they got
so-
colored.
Yeah, what happened here was this was actually for a backer for Mossvale, and I really liked how it turned out, and Travis really liked how it turned out. So I just kept working with it, and then Alfred messaged me. Alfred is the colorist. He
Yeah.
messaged me, and he was like, "Hey, I'm looking for some work to do, and I was just wondering if you had anything." And I was like, "Yeah, I do. I got this Mossvale thing right here." And I was originally intending it to be a print, and then Matt was like, "Let's make it a cover," and I was like, "Okay, it's great." I had,
Technically a printing.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So
It's gonna be a print of some sort.
yeah, well, and I'll make a print of it too, probably for cons, and
Cool.
yeah. So if you see me, I might have one. It'll probably not have the Mossvale logo on it, but it'll be there.
You don't want to gold leaf it on?
You know what? I've seen people do gold leaf before. It actually might be cool to do one like that. Actually, do like a special like group of 2.
Yeah, do like 5 prints, make them to like $25. Gold leaf.
No, not $25, Caroline.
I don't know how much this stuff costs.
I'm an American. We want to charge way more than that.
$10,000.
$10,000.
One print. You do one print, and then you sell it like that Wu-Tang album.
Yes. Exactly.
You make Travis have to buy his own print.
Yes.
It's like the
used by the government.
Yeah.
It's like the Sean Gordon Murphy once a year commission where it was like $10,000.
And someone probably bought it.
Oh, they did.
Probably.
Oh yeah, I can guarantee somebody bought that.
Oh yeah, someone did, and you know, it's weird with that. Like, I'm sorry, but this is a real tangent here. We're gonna get back to
Oh, you're good.
But the tangent here is that like once you have like money attached to something, like if you know the amount of the like that the art is for, that colors your perception of it after it's done. So like $10,000 is too large to the point where no matter what he draws, you'll look at it and be like, yeah, that's not worth $10,000. You know.
Yeah.
So I had that going in, thinking about that with Sean Murphy's commission. And then when he posted it, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't have paid $10,000 for that. And but I'm sure the guy who got it was very happy.
Good for you, bro.
Yeah.
My that's like, you know, I for years I wanted Joelle Jones commission, like some kind of bad, and she finally posted that she was gonna have an opening for commissions, but it was a raffle. So like even find out if you could get it done. And I was like, well, how much is the commission if I was to win the raffle? And they were like, oh, it's like, I think it was like $5,000 or something, but it was, you know, like an 11x17 commission. Like, and I was like, yeah, I can't even afford the $5,000. We could put out like 2 or 3 Sam issues for that. Like, I don't even need to enter this raffle. So
that's insane.
Well, if you join her like, she's part of Zest World, which is like the other Substack. She'll do digital head sketches for like $100. Just not a big 2 characters.
Interesting.
So, but I'm not really sure how I feel about a blockchain NFT kind of like commission.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to own it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking at my 2 Joelle.
It always looks better in person.
Yeah. I'm looking at my 2 Joelle pages right now, and I'm like, they look a lot better in person. There you go, Matt. There was a sly edge.
There was a flex right there.
Yeah. That's okay. You still got that lovely Sean Phillips page. Oh, that Reckless page is great.
You don't want to talk about my $100 Somni from Heroes Con?
You had to bring up Heroes Con, didn't you?
Let's hear the story.
So we went to the drink and draw on Friday night at Heroes Con, and they're putting stuff out, and there's a Luke Skywalker, Chris Somni, and this guy picks it up. Well, Chris saw it, and I saw it sort of at the same time. And this guy picks it up before me, and he asked how much it is, and the guy says it's $100, and he puts it down on the table, and I'm like, you're done, you're out? And he's like, yeah, I'm out. And I'm like, there is no way a Chris Somni stays on the table for $100. And I just scooped it up and ran. Well, I paid for it and then I ran.
And this is the story of how Matt stole it.
Well, the best is Matt's like, hey, do you want to see what I bought? And then he opens up his little notebook, and there it is. And I was like, oh, you got it.
You're that asshole.
No, we had to hide it after a while because so many people were coming up. One guy asked me if I was Chris Somni, and I'm like, no, I'm not Chris Somni. So we had to hide it after a while.
Yeah,
that drink and draw had led to multiple funny stories.
Yeah, so the funniest thing about that, like, so Matt and I are tipsy by that point, and so Matt and I are like, but it's hilarious. Everybody else is kind of tipsy as well, but at that point, everybody's acting like they're in middle school or like elementary school, like when you have something cool. But I'm hiding it in my sketchbook. So Matt's like, you got to keep this safe.
And people are coming over, and we're like, okay. And like we open it up really quick, and then we close it again.
I'm like, yeah. They're like, people come up and they're like, heard you got a Somni. Like, but like Chris even came up and they're like, they want to see the Samni and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is it.
Can
I'm
we-
like, wasn't it?
Can
Yeah,
we
so it was
see?
funny. Like we ended up Matt, Noah, and I met down there. I went with some other friends as well. So like there was like a group of us, but it was weird because I was like going between the Ageless table and like the other friends table. Like all of us are trying to buy art and everything, and like there was a little drama. So
Ooh.
yeah, I need a Joelle Jones Catwoman too. I'm not sure if that's Chris or David, but I mean, yeah, I'd love one as well. But I'll settle for the two I got.
Not a bad one.
Yeah.
I have a, but my
I
funniest.
feel like Matt's going to come back with either the pulp page that I dream of owning or with a sketch that we've been discussing.
I have to give Noah a super special shout out for picking up my Dr. Afra interior art page for me.
My best art here from Mark Russell. It's Spider-Man.
I think my first. Holy shit, that's good.
Hilarious.
God
Wow.
damn, that's good.
Well, good
Hold
luck
on.
to David.
Damn.
It's gotta go on. Yeah.
Yeah, I
How
can't believe
did
you
somebody
passed on
say
that.
no for
Damn.
$100?
Damn, sir.
I remember watching them put it out, but the problem was like I had started it like there was a table where there was just like randomly priced art of like any value, and then you kind of like walk past the 5, the 10, the 20 table, and then the 50 and the 100 table, and I was just like, oh, and like the 100 table was also the auction table, and I didn't know where it was going, so I was just like, I'll kick it back around in a couple minutes. And it was gone. I never saw that again. So then Mr. Flex over here is like, hey, you want to see what I bought? And I was like, sure.
Hell yeah.
Well, Noah did a Vader that sold for $50 and a Superman coaster that sold for like another 20, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I
Awesome,
think
you,
so.
man.
Yeah, it was fun. We met a lot of cool people that night. People we'd met at other conventions, and then like new friends that like, we've kept in touch with. At least I've kept in touch with a couple.
Is this something that cons regularly do, or is it just like specific ones do it?
I think it's certain cons do it.
I think Baltimore, did they do one last year? I don't think so because it
I
was.
didn't go if they did, but it was still COVID.
pandemic rules, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heroes Con is sort of its own like inclusive sort of art animal. Like there's a auction on Saturday night and a drink and draw on Friday, and it's just so wide open. And it's just
And then
it's
Sunday they're doing art auctions at the show.
yeah.
So
That's so cool.
Heroes Con has to be the most art attainable con that I've ever been to now that I've gone. And
And
I'm
where
is
able
it?
to get
North
art
Carolina?
from any price point too.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
So what I'm hearing is go.
I gotta go next year.
Yeah, go. We're already planning next year's trip. Like, it's a foregone conclusion. So.
Is it always in June?
It's around the Father's
Yeah.
Day weekend. Yeah, and the plan is that Noah and I will have a table there
Nice.
next year. So
Like,
everybody will sort of have a base to hang out at.
Awesome.
What he's trying to say is we're trying to get on commission list before everybody else.
So if Lee Weeks is watching, just be ready. I'm running to your table right away, sir.
All I want is a piece of Stephanie Hahn's original art.
Oof.
Oof,
But
indeed.
somebody's
The
got
Dr.
a
Afra, Stephanie Hahn's.
somebody's got a really nice Dr. Afra OA page.
I gotta get it. Hold on, let me get it.
Oh, are we pulling out art now? Like,
Yes, we are.
I think
Chris,
that's-
did you?
I
Chris,
can't
who did
wait
your
for art
Captain
on.
America, Charlotte? Who is that awesome artist?
that was Stephanie Laveau that did the cap.
Yeah.
Look at her sassy walk.
beautiful.
Look at the pout.
So
Hello.
good.
So good. I have to get a frame for it though, because I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a frame for
Done that
mine
yet.
yet either.
At least it's in the top. At least it's in the top loader right now.
Oh yeah, I have hella from buying art at work, so I just I just like immediately was like, away you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have the thick boys at work.
Somebody's original art over there on the wall.
Ooh.
Oh, that's the Noah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The Noah Owe, the Noah.
Sitting there amongst all the Something's Killing the Children books.
Oh, I'm so honored. That's awesome.
Dude, you got to remember that, Noah, the no way.
The no way.
You got to be like, yo, this
like
comes
that.
with a no way.
Yeah.
Like, you got to remember that every show now. It's like, oh, this has got a no way on it, by the way.
So there was Jeff DeCal was at Heroes Con, and somebody like randomly walked up, and he had the remarked Something is Killing the Children, the cover that he did. That was like a 9/8, and they were like, "How much is that?" And he was like, "It's $5,000." They're like, "Okay," and they just like walked away. So
he had the Catwoman original art for that new swimsuit variant.
Oh.
But I might have bumped a table that bumped Jeff DeCal's table, so I was not somebody who was going to ever sell art to. So.
Jeremy, we had Bobby Angus on our show on Tuesday night, and he's the art rep at Jeff M Art and Jeff Mart Art, I guess is the way that it's said. But he talked about a bit of his OA collection, and he sold it since, but he nabbed the Jenny Frisson Something is Killing the Children original art originally. It's like he was the first one to own that. And then
her and Jen Bartel, another set of art. I'm literally wearing a Jen Bartel t-shirt right now.
And then somebody made him an offer that he couldn't refuse, and he no longer has it.
You could not pay me to get rid of this.
Like, unless it was like $500,000.
This is the like thing I take in the fire. This and my cat. One in one arm, one in the other. Let's go.
I do sometimes look on, because I think is Jenny Frisson on Cadence Comic Art?
Yeah, she's on Cadence.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sometimes stare at her art on there and be like, I can't afford you.
Yeah, same. I told Chris. I told Chris, I think like maybe back in like around December, because I bought some prints from Cadence, and I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to own a Jenny Frisson original, and he was like, oh, let me send you some from Cadence, and it was like, so I was like, yeah, I'll never be able to afford that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I do want to own something from Jenny eventually, because her art's just astounding.
I would like to like all these people are people I would love to meet and like buy from in person versus buying it online. I mean, if I could get it online and I can afford it, I would do that. But I would like to meet them and like interact with them. So it was like a picture moments.
Yeah,
she wasn't there this year, but I feel like she's been at the past two Heroes Cons, so you might have a chance.
Yeah, she was at Heroes in 2019. That's when I met her. She's really nice, and
she seems like a wonderful person.
Yeah, her partner is Tim Seeley, I think is his name. He's amazing too.
He does great DC work.
No, it's not Tim Seeley. Then is it Tim?
It's very similar.
Yeah, I don't think it's that Tim Seeley.
Oh, okay. I was like,
her partner's a collage artist.
Ah,
and he does crazy weird stuff. It's really great. Yeah.
Now, in fairness, Tim Seeley is also repped by Cadence, the Tim Seeley that does.
What I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I got the name wrong, Caroline.
No, you're fine. I was like, whoa, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Because every now and then that does happen. Like you've got Donnie Cates and his wife who just like work like so well together when they do stuff.
Well, there's what's his name? Isn't the writer, the guy who writes Sex Criminals, is married to
Matt Fraction.
Matt Fraction's married
Kelly
to
Sue DeConnick.
Yeah. I don't think they've ever worked together, or I don't know if they have, but yeah.
I don't know. Nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
I think they go to publishers together though.
This is great. This is now turned into like comic celebs gossip. It's like, oh, we're right now.
TMZ of comics.
Yeah, it's like we saw Jeff DeCall walking down the lane with
with expensive.
It's always good to hear con stories and things like that though, because it's fun. It's fun stuff going on at the con.
It's always nice to know what you missed out on.
Oh,
You drop like $25 on the Kickstarter, and we can start telling like the real good con stories.
Oh yeah,
So
well,
let's
good
drop some money
stuff.
on this over here, and they'll keep dishing. Oh.
Yeah. We haven't
Don't
even
name
gotten to the
names
really
as if
juicy
they haven't already
stuff.
been.
Yeah.
I won't say any names, but Noah and I might have saw somebody get in some serious trouble 2-3 years ago at Heroes Con.
Yeah, may have. Yeah,
May have.
may
I'm
have.
amazed you didn't see somebody get in serious trouble at this Heroes Con from the stories that I've heard.
No, I mean this year was, I think, because of years
particular
past,
art
people were.
auction incident.
Being
Oh,
nice.
the art auction incident was
Oh God.
That was
Fighting? Was there fighting?
as
was-
close as you can get.
there
But-
was name calling and
Oh.
adult language being bantied back and forth between people.
Oh, it was the spice. The spice.
Spice.
I watched a very well-known comic creator berate his assistant once. That was very
That doesn't
awkward.
surprise me at all.
No, it should not surprise you. But the more awkward part was where I was like, "So does this mean you're not signing autographs right now?"
Why?
It's just like, I don't know if I want your autograph anymore.
I will say this: after
Just slides the
meeting
book
this
back.
person and watching that, I want nothing to do like with that person anymore. It was a very awkward moment, but it was like I felt like interrupting was probably the best thing that I could do to a small degree to just
Try to stop
like,
it.
yelling.
Yeah.
Because it was really a petty thing. They just didn't like how their name sign was hung up. It looked crooked. And the best part was the assistant had nothing to do with hanging it because I had been watching the show staff do it earlier.
Oh Lord.
Love.
Sir, you're a mess. Leave.
Yeah. Time to time to stop yelling at your people.
So I will
We don't yell at each other to get it back on track.
You only yell words of
No,
love.
we yell at
Encourage each other to spend more money.
I will I'll give you one Heroes Con free tidbit. I asked Jim Steranko for a picture, which he politely declined, and offered that I should take a picture with Noah. So I put my arm around Noah and I was posed, ready to go. And Noah tried to hand his camera to Jim Steranko, and he was like, "Will you take the picture for us?" And he just laughed at us and walked away.
What a quirky man.
He's
Very quirky.
his teeth and his hair are the sun. You can see them like
They just draw you in
a
like
lighthouse. Yeah, a lighthouse in a hurricane. It's if you need to find your bearings at a convention, you just look for the glow,
just look through the hair.
and you'll be able to go. You'll be able to find where you need to go. Yeah.
Okay. If
I
lost,
find
please
my
return to
buddy's
Steranko.
Huh?
I said, if lost, please return to Steranko.
Yeah.
I was trying to find my buddy's booth at Heroes, and somehow they moved it, and we just never. And he ended up being behind Steranko, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's why I couldn't find you. I just stopped there because it's Jim Steranko."
You got very distracted.
So should we round this about to the comics, or do we need more like content?
Yeah. Are you guys? So
Let's
what?
take it from
What con
Steranko.
stuff do you have coming up for?
We
this
will
year?
all be at Big Lit Comic Con in August down in Roanoke, Virginia.
Ooh.
And then we will also, Travis is coming to Baltimore from what I understand. But
No, he won't be able to this year, but
Okay.
he's going to be at Big Lick.
Yeah.
Travis, Noah, myself, and Matt will all be down at Big Lit
Nice.
Comic Con in August. And then in October, Matt, Noah, and I will be at Baltimore Comic Con. Now, the only difference is at Baltimore Comic Con, Matt and Noah have their own table. I'm in the kids zone. So we're not all tabling together, but I'm sure you will probably find us together at some point. So
And you'll find
Definitely.
our books at each other's tables. So
Yeah.
you can be like,
Nice.
if you decide that you don't want to buy from Chris, you can come buy from us. So yeah.
Their
Yeah.
table will have more stuff than mine because I can actually only sell kids' books. And
That
I'm not
makes sense.
being mean when I say all ages. It literally says kids only.
Yeah.
I remember
Well-
that section this last
Yeah.
Baltimore Comic Con.
We'll set up our table where it's kid stuff on the left side and then like crazy sci-fi stuff that Noah and I do on the right side. So
Perfect.
Nothing wrong with that, you know.
Listen, we got a little bit of everything for everyone at the shop.
And
I get it.
Dino
When
Thrashers in the
customers come to
middle.
my shop, I'm
yeah,
always like, hey,
Downer Thrashers is the transition between, you know, sort
All
of the
ages.
middle reader, and then hey, look at this really high concept sci-fi book that nobody understands.
Perfect.
Does anybody really understand sci-fi? And with that,
Okay, let's get into it. All right.
Speaking of,
it's all just made up science anyway.
superpowers are sci-fi, and kids, having powers to save their friends. Superior Sam
has no powers. He's just a kid that wants to do the right thing.
But that's his power.
Listen, there is science in this comic, and it is a work of fiction. Therefore, it's science fiction.
But I think one of the really cool story aspects, Chris, you can talk about this, is like the town like goes along with that he's a superhero to sort of play into like the whole town is into it. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the whole town and like the school administration all support these kids being heroes. And like they're kind of like the hall monitors. They have their own secret lair inside of the school. It's an old it was originally an old janitor's closet, supply closet, and then they got an old teacher's lounge. But they have a secret lair, and then if you read some of the subsequent issues, they go around town helping out as well. You know, doing things around the town. They're all known for being heroes.
I love it. I like all the outfits.
And we tried to make the outfits look like kids made them.
Mm-hmm.
Like what kids would do, or like maybe what kids and their parents could do.
What you can get at the store.
Yeah. You should, if we have time, Chris, you should talk about all the characters. Like do like from left to right.
All right, so we're going to do left to right from my left. So when I'm looking at this, the first one I see is Tremendous Tony, and he's the one in the green and the white with the T. And he first debuted in the Take a Knee issue. He is actually siblings with Cool Hand Carla, who is the third character from the far right. But Tremendous Tony is one of the superheroes. Next to him is Marvelous Michael. Michael is actually deaf. And then we have Viva Fox, who is probably the most popular character in the series, even more than Sam most of the time. Fun fact, she's actually based off of my wife.
Aww.
And my wife actually based her off of her best friend in college. Grad school. Don't ever say college if it's grad school. But and she's Lebanese background, and then we have Sam, which obviously is based off of me. Billy is next to him. He is based off of my brother, and that is why I make him the comedic cut up and sidekick, because it embarrasses my brother, who is my little brother. Then we have Cool Hand Carla, and Carla is actually an amputee as well. She and Sam actually go to the same prosthetist. So if we fund this issue, you'll get an origin issue where they actually meet. And she, like I said, she was born without a hand, but she has a biometric hand. Then we have Fast Freddie, who was actually based off of Azami, who was the original artist on 1 through 7. And he was born without legs. Now Azami has legs, but the character's look and everything is based off of Azami. Okay. And I should clarify, Marvelous Michael is actually based off a friend of mine named Michael, who actually is deaf in real life, and he actually has he has a thing, it's called Famous Flying Hands, where he teaches people who are in the public eye or meet a lot of people how to talk to deaf people, how to sign their name and say what they do. Okay. And then on the very far right, the little innocent looking kid, don't let it fool you. That is Super Silas, who is actually based off of a real life fan of the series. He is called Super Silas in real life. He's part of a group called Tiny Superheroes, and they send capes and they have activities for children that are in and out of the hospital. And Silas is a part of that. We met him at a con, my wife and I. He told me it was his goal to be in comics. And I immediately was texting with Azami, and we threw him on the cover of the very next issue, issue number 5 that came out. But the cool thing is, with Silas's character, you know, we talked with his mom. We made sure it was okay to put him in the book. He designed his whole costume.
Oh, that's cool.
We got to pick it all out and everything. And then, you know, because we created a diva, you know, he couldn't just be on the cover because he's a comics fan. And we all know cover appearances don't count per CGC. Yeah, come on, Gwenpool. That was a cover appearance. But
First cover appearance.
Yeah, but Silas had to be in a book, so he debuted in the book in issue 7, and then issue 8 is all about him and his adventure with having a kidney disorder and what it's like and how he's still just a normal kid even though he's in the hospital. So
that's awesome.
So
we actually put Silas's whole family in the book too. So his brothers and sisters even got to be in an issue as well.
Very nice.
But that is the Superior Sam family as of right now.
Very cool.
So Caroline and I probably both are wondering.
Yeah, special request. Diabetes.
Where's the kid with diabetes?
No.
So
because we both have type 1 diabetes.
So I will be honest with you. I had a kid come up to me and he asked about, you know, he had this idea for a story for a diabetic character. And I'm not saying I'm like, I wanted to steal his idea by any means, but I was like, you already have all of this. Why don't you do this?
Just do it.
Yeah.
But you also have to remember what I said too. I have 14 stories in the on deck for Sam. So to give you an idea, if, you know, we fund this issue of kind of what's to come, you know, we have Carla's origin story, but as far as new characters, I have a story with a character in a wheelchair, and it centers around him wanting to play sports. Nice. You know, I have a character, you know, that's on the spectrum because one of the earliest supporters of Superior Sam was the autism community. They were one of the original like people that was into Superior Sam and promoting it and helping me when I first got it started. And I've always wanted to do a character to do that group justice. One of the things too is if I don't like a story, I'll rewrite it over and over and over because I always try to be fair to those, like if it's trying to tell you about somebody. So like sometimes you don't see it because I just haven't developed it, but you know, we also have a character named Steven who is in a future story as well. Steven also goes by Stephanie. And then I think that's all of the. Oh, and there is a character called Petey the Powerful, and Petey is actually a kid that is just bigger than everybody else because everybody's gone to school with that one kid that just got the growth spurt before everybody else. But he's made fun of because of his size, but he is known as Petey the Powerful. But those are all of the like truly like new characters, and whether you'll ever see them or not all depends on, you know, what Matt wants to do, Matt and Brett want to do, and then, you know, what if we can actually get, you know, some from synopsis to script and things like that. But at the end of the day, too, the big three are Sam, Billy, and Viva, and they will also just meet people in the stories and have interactions that also have things going on as well. So they might not be a named character, but, you know, if I could cover every kind of medical thing to highlight everybody, I would. And it was weird. A quick tangent-ish kind of story. When the Tiny Superheroes group found out we were doing Super Silas, they actually wanted to try to do comics for every kid in the organization. The problem was they just didn't have the budget to pay for the art.
Yeah. So
we couldn't do it, but if we had done that, then we would have done more than likely had a character with diabetes. But just because you don't see something doesn't mean it's not ever going to happen or not either. So
absolutely. I know there's so many people that look for their, you know, their representation in comics, especially with these types of conditions that don't get talked about in, you know, this type of light, this heroic type of.
It was weird for me because I have an amputee character. I'm an amputee. I have an amputee character, and for those that don't know, when I say I go to a prosthetist, that's the doctor's office that does prosthetics, the devices that amputees use. They were mad that I didn't have a character that was missing a hand or an arm. They actually were adamant that I needed a character because I didn't cover the bases. And I was like, oh, well, then we got Carla, and she has a hilarious backstory. Like, I really hope, I told my wife, I want to do a girl power issue where it's just it's Viva and Carla with their own stories, like a 2-in-1 kind of book. But I want to do it like an old school flip book where one side is for one and the other is for the other.
Oh, I love that.
Covers and everything. But one of the things that, you know, like with Viva, I wanted to do it based around like the peer pressures of social media on somebody. And then with Carla, it was going to be her origin, like how she, you know, meets Sam and how she loses her arm.
Okay.
So
very nice. Yeah,
there's,
I mean, it sounds like
copyrights in place for that script already.
It sounds like there's a bright future for the whole Superior Sam gang here, the whole group.
I really genuinely enjoy doing this. One of the biggest reasons that I went to Noah and to Matt was because I wanted Sam to have a home. And even if I wasn't doing it, you know, I don't necessarily have a problem with somebody else doing it, as long as they do it right and with, you know, and they do justice by the characters. If you were to make a mockery of it, no. But if, you know, Noah or Matt or even Brett said, hey, we like this character, can we do our own story? I wouldn't have a problem with that. As long as, you know, it fits that kind of, you know, all ages theme of being, you know, there's no violence, there's no gore, and there's no profanity, and you're trying to, you know, better people through the comic, you know, something like that. I got no problem. So
very nice.
Noah's already like, my 5-year plan just turned into a 1-minute plan.
Noah's like, and writing now.
We're done. This is done. It's mine.
Hey, Chris, I got an idea here. It's about a marginalized group of people with red hair. Just to feel like they don't get to be.
Who don't have souls?
They don't have souls, and they're discriminated against a lot.
Is by any chance he like a redheaded stepchild?
Yeah,
commonly referred to as Ginger.
Well, I always had a character named Gingervitis.
Yo, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, he's red hair and he like blows fire out of his mouth. It's great. His throat. It's like, oh. Yeah.
We could talk.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's a good guy. He's the best guy. He's more powerful than all the characters combined.
See, the problem is there's no actual superpowers in this one, so
that's why he's the best. He's the first one with superpowers. He's great.
He's actually so pale that when he spends time in the sun, he becomes reflective.
That's his other power.
That's his superpower.
Really
you mean he gets more powerful by the paler he gets?
Yeah.
Fire.
Then he can also take his freckles off and like throw them at people like boomerangs. Like
the spot guy.
Polka dot man.
Yeah.
Well, I was also thinking the tattoo man, but I didn't want to get into trademark issues.
Yeah.
Trademark man.
The trademark man.
all jokes aside, I do agree that I do like Chris's approach to this book, and I respect him deeply, and I would never do that, Chris. I respect the book too much.
As much as I respect Noah, I probably wouldn't have signed off on that idea anyway.
Well, thank you guys for hanging out and talking about Superior Sam, which everyone needs a home, including Superior Sam, and it seems like it found its home here with Ageless Press.
Thank you guys for having us on and giving us a chance to talk about this.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Guys.
We'll have to have you back for the next one.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
To get this done. I got a birthday coming up, so if everybody wants to give me a good gift next week, please let it fund.
Say your birthday's say your birthday is tomorrow, so we don't have to wait
Yeah.
as long.
Yes.
I will say this.
You know what? When someone watches it next week, it will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's true.
I
Everyone
told
watching
my
this
wife, I
later,
was like,
boom.
I was
Got to back it right now.
I told my wife, I was like, you know what we should have done? I was like, why has nobody ever put a tier on something called like the baller tier where you could just fund the whole project in one tier?
Do it. Do it now.
Like,
Do it.
and I told her, I was like, the way I
Do
would do this tier is we'd have baller and then we would have I want to be a baller. And I even told my wife, I was like, I will literally, like, whenever you pull the trigger on the baller tier, you get all the tiers that are left. So if it's 10 animals in the book that are still left, you get all 10 animals in there. If there's a character tier, you get it, but you get everything that's left. You back it first, you get it all. But then she's like, well, how's it going to be cooler? Because I was like, because I will call you up or I will TikTok me singing Skilo's I Wish. And if you do the I want to be a baller, you still get the same thing. You just only get half of whatever's left. But I'll still call you up doing the I Wish. And my wife was even like, you can't rap, but I can, so I'll do it. So
Matt taking
notes. Next time we're doing the baller and the I want to be a baller tier.
You got to make it a ringtone. Or like a text tone, but something they can use, like an MP3 file.
I feel like having complete access to that one would work. I have a buddy who I forgot what he said he would eat if it hit a certain goal, but I know I think he had to eat like those hot chips, like that one chip.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, but he was like, yeah, if we can get this much money by the end of this, I'll do this. And it was like, oh, it's done. And I was like,
I'm going to back it right now. Watch me. Sir.
Last night there was talk of a tattoo if they hit a certain level.
So
ideas.
The paintball team that I used to play for, one of the teams I used to play for and run, I always told them, I was like, look, we win a national title, I'll get a tattoo of the team's logo. And I ended up getting hurt, and then they won a national title. I don't want to hear the jokes between the two. But I was like, yeah, I can't get a tattoo. I have a nerve disease. They don't even know what's causing the nerve damage. But a tattoo is not a good idea anymore.
Yeah.
But
temporary. No, little temporary tattoo.
Yeah.
But yeah, link down below to get over to the Kickstarter. Also, link to I think I got all of your guys' social media on there.
Nice.
Noah's Instagram. Noah, you created your TikTok so late. I didn't get that in there.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I just saw that today.
I'm very new to TikTok. I don't know how it works.
You take the talk?
Yeah. It's a thing. I don't know.
The kids know. They think it's cool. I'm just trying to do something for the kids.
Trying to be hip.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Matt, I think I got your Instagram and Twitter.
Thank
Chris,
you.
Your Instagram. Do you have anything else?
No, I've gone very low key, like no Twitter, no Facebook. If you get a tweet, see me on Twitter or Facebook, I swear to you, it is not me.
Emergency.
The only
Report
official thing I have is Instagram.
Perfect.
And I have a Patreon, but I swear to you, I'm not asking for money. I just use it as like a website.
That works.
Fair.
He's got an OnlyFans if this Kickstarter doesn't work out. So
I feel like I'm gonna have to make one just to fund the OnlyFans.
Nice.
Just to fund the actual Kickstarter. I'm gonna be over there. And oh man, we could turn this conversation real sad. I'm in a niche market already, I could be even in a nichier market.
We're headed there. And then I think I got Ageless Press down there also, all the pages for that. So Go
Thank
follow them, check them out, follow along with the project, go back it. Only for a couple dollars, you can get the newest Superior Sam or Superior Sam and the awesome variant for Mossville by Noah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait till tomorrow. You can get everything all in one, right, Matt?
Yep. It's gonna happen.
The baller's here.
So he says.
Be on the lookout for it, and then the add-on tier for the Mossville.
Yes, that's definitely coming.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you guys, and thanks everyone who's been watching, and have a nice night.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.